Oh, I just felt so great. I just felt like, okay, thank God that everybody was so wonderful and let us do this, because otherwise it would have been a disaster.
Suddenly, the crowds part. And there he is.
I just knew it was going to be a hit. It was so funny. It was so heartfelt. It was so contemporary. It was so against expectation. It was so wonderfully cast.
I've got exactly 4 days to break up a wedding, steal the bride's fella, and I haven't one clue how to do it.
And the interesting thing about it is the ending, which is quite different from the way it was originally shot. They'd rewritten it in Chicago so that she wouldn't be sad, so the end of the movie wouldn't be down. So the way reshoots happen in film, and I think one of the things a general audience isn't really focused on a lot, is the importance of the preview process. The audience understands what's actually working and what's not. It's magnificent, and they tell you. And so now you sit and you see the first preview, and there are little things as we go along that are different, and I'm just going, good, great. Get to the ending, and in the ending of the first shoot, which no one had told me about, after the couple drives away, and Julia's left standing there brokenhearted, a handsome guy, played by John Corbett, who became the star of My Big Fat Greek Wedding, walks up to her and says, I'm Andy Connolly, and I'm Michael's best friend, and he says you're an awesome girl, and can I have this dance? And I'm going, really? The entire audience just goes dead. They hated it. So all of the credit that we got with the audience for her not getting the guy, which was great, we lost in that moment of a different guy steps up. And it was ridiculous. It was like the idea that, did Julianne Potter need to have a man come into her life in 15 seconds? Was she going to enter a nunnery before breakfast? I don't know if it was mandated by the studio that someone there said, I want a happy ending. I never asked why it happened, because the moment that it was shown to the first audience, the energy in the room just went to zero. And the head of the studio knew it immediately, walked back, said, fix it. The next day I have lunch with my director and my producer, and we figure out 7 scenes. And 2 o'clock that afternoon, after that lunch, I had to walk into a large room at Sony and tell them why I was changing everything and what went wrong.
I dreamt that some psychopath was trying to break the two of you up.
The reaction was enormously positive when I described all of the scenes. We reinvented the scene you saw in the toilet room where Cammie and she had a fight, because I said Cammie never had a chance to stand up on her hind legs and tell her how much he had entrusted her and speak for herself. So that was great.
There's no way that I'm gonna give him up to some two-faced, big-haired food critic.
But the biggest thing we figured out to do differently that I pitched to them was the end of the movie that you saw. Originally, it had been written where George was in New York and I was on the phone, which wasn't nearly as impactful. And I said, no, he's got to be there to hold her in his arms and to look at her face. And he said, but how's it going to have any impact? I said, well, we won't think he's there.
I can just picture you there, sitting alone at your table in your lavender gown.
Did I tell you my gown was lavender?
It'll be like it's a phone call from New York, and she'll think he's on the phone, and then he'll start saying, but that dress you're wearing and the way you're tapping your fingers and all that stuff, and there'll be that moment where the audience realizes.
George, I didn't tell you my dress was lavender.
And so it's an enormously happy ending, which is nothing about the wedding. And when we changed the ending, we went back to the next preview with the good ending. The difference was clear. We knew we had a successful film at that point.
Maybe there won't be marriage. Maybe there won't be sex. But by God, there'll be dancing.
One of the biggest reasons that I wrote the piece was to make the point that love is love. The person in the world that she loved the most and that loved her the most was her best friend. He was able to make her happy, and I honestly don't know who wrote the line, there may not be sex, but by God there will be dancing, and that kind of is the point of the story. You can look for love in lots of places, and lots of relationships can mean the world to you.